On this week's video query, we thought we'd introduce you to the man behind the music, legendary TV composer Mike Post. His music has captured audience in some of my dad's biggest shows, like the Rockford Files, the A-Team, Wise Guy, and The Greatest American Hero.
Oh, your dad. I could still see your dad sticking out of the red Thunderbird driving down the highway. I'm just having fun. I have the best life. A typical day for me is every room I walk into is filled with guys half my age that are really, really good players or really, really good producers or really good composers. And they all turn and look at me every day and say, what do you feel like doing? And how do you want this music to sound? And what do you want to play? You want to play guitar? You want to play keyboards? What do you feel like doing? That's my life every day. And they're all friends of mine. It isn't, I don't really have any employees. I just have people that I work with. And none of them treat me in a way that makes me feel like I'm not in a band. I'm in a band, I'm a real good example of somebody that got into something that he, not on purpose, just because of a friendship and because of someone else's success, and that other person saying, I don't want to do this alone, come do this with me, this will be fun, we'll have a good time and we'll do something good. And who knew that would be the thing that I was actually made for? Who knew that television, I've done 6,000 hours of TV, 6,000 hours of television. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot more than anybody else has ever done or probably will ever do. I've also, there's another thing that's kind of weird, that's neat, that they tell me, that someplace in the world, every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week, every month, some place in the world, not one, but two pieces of my music are playing. So that's pretty weird. 24 hours a day, two pieces of this stuff is playing. Yeah. Well, when you think about it, the reason that it's happened, it has to do with me secondarily. It really, the primary reason it's happened is because I hooked up with Chelsea Cannell, Don Belisario, Stephen Bochco, and Dick Wolf. Now, those guys they're on this short list of maybe 6 or 7 or 8 guys that have had multiple shows run long periods of time. Very few guys can ever do that. And if they have one show, it's a big deal. Well, nobody will ever break the records that your old man has set. Nobody. Nobody will ever put that many shows on the air. He and I both work real fast. He writes like a hurricane. So do I. And I didn't know, when I was 22 or 23 years of age, I didn't know that the immediacy of television would play into, my attention span. I have the attention span of a gnat. So I know composers that sweat over it for days and weeks. A, I don't ever sweat over it. And B, if it doesn't happen within a couple of seconds, it's weird. I see the ball and I hit the ball. I look at the picture and I hear music, and I'm real quick at writing it down. It's just like your old man. We're the same, I think we're the same idiot, he starts going, what if, and then he hears characters talking to him, and I look at the picture and the jukebox is playing. So it's just my job to write it down or to play it, He's called me a couple times. He goes, hey man. I said, yeah. He goes, do you ever feel like it's not you? I go, yeah. Yep. Lot. He goes, you do? God, I'm so glad, because sometimes I'm just sort of like a witness. I said, that's right. That's how I feel sometimes. A lot of the time. In fact, when I write the stuff that I like the best, or that people react to the most, usually I don't think about anything. I don't sit down and get cerebral about it, I just throw me the ball, I'll hit the ball. you know, and that sounds real cocky, but really what it is out of both of us. This is another thing we share. It's humbling. You feel so lucky. You feel so bloody fortunate to be able to do that. And he feels the same way. Now he's, you know, I mean, I kid him about ego and this and that, but the truth of the matter is, you know, one of the reasons we're still such good friends is because he and I both know that we're the two luckiest guys on the face of the earth. I mean, man, how did this happen? Lucky guys, really lucky guys.